Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this today's session of Chart Speak. Today, I'll be discussing around one very interesting breakout that has happened, two cases of reversal, and around five stocks which are coming from the updates that people have done to my previous Chart Speak session as fan stocks. And also, I'll show you how we can move from the sectoral strengths to the individual stocks within those. So just to give you an idea that how you can play with the trend. By the way, don't get surprised that today's session I'm doing in English. It is more due to some of the demand that I'm getting is that why only Hindi, why not English? Of course, practically not possible to make sessions in both languages. So I'll try to balance up one or the other those days with English and some of those days with Hindi. तो जो लोग हिंदी में सुनना चाहते हैं उनके लिए मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि काफ़ी लोगों से ये रिक्वेस्ट आई थी कि आप इंग्लिश में भी सेशन करिए, तो इसलिए कुछ सेशंस में इंग्लिश में करने वाला हूँ और ये इसी तरीके का बैलेंस में रखूँगा क्योंकि ये प्रैक्टिकली पॉसिबल नहीं है कि हम दोनों लैंग्वेजेस में सेशंस को बनाएं। तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। आज सबसे पहले देखते हैं, एक अलग जगह से शुरुआत करता हूँ जो कि हमने निफ्टी के सेशंस के अपडेट में भी देखा था। तो we'll start from the point what we have seen in the Nifty's today's update, which will follow up in today's video. So here what we have seen is that in the trend side, if you look at the overall today's move practically, I will comment that more on the Nifty's video, but over here on the trend side, you can see as we were discussing the other day, we are having Nifty Auto and Nifty FMCG who are coming into the play. They are showing positivity. So the trend in case of Nifty Auto and Nifty FMCG is up. On the other hand, if we look at the momentum, there we see Nifty FMCG is in the positive momentum. So if you observe, Nifty FMCG is positive momentum plus it is in positive trend. So this becomes a very interesting point from where we can start playing with the FMCG stocks. Definitely you will find that contradictory to the market trend that is going on. But believe me, whenever the frustration level is the highest, that is the point from where the market reverses. And if you wait for markets to get comfortable for our entry, there are many times that you will find that market has already rallied. So to make sure that we de-risk ourselves to the max extent, we'll have to keep watch on stocks or on the sectors which are showing reversals first, because Nifty in itself is not going to reverse first. Either or the other sector is going to reverse first. So we will have to go sector wise. That is what my approach is. And under that approach, I observed today that Nifty FMCG is running into positive momentum as well as it is also running into positive trend. While Nifty Auto is in only positive trend, it is still yet to cross over into the positive momentum. So today's safety bet would be Nifty FMCG. So I'll just show you that in case you identify a sector which has gone positive, now how to arrive at its stocks. So for this, you can go to this NSE's website, which is for the stock watch over here. If you go to equity stock watch, there you can find that sector wise or index wise, you can see the components. So let's look at the FMCG sector here because that is the one which is showing strength. So once we go to the Nifty FMCG, now you will wonder where to start over here. So definitely a day's chart is not something dependable that we can work on to observe the strength. What you can come over here is start looking at the 52-week charts, that is 365 days charts, or the 30 days chart, how the stocks are behaving recently. And to get a better idea, maybe what we can do is that just sort them up in the descending order of strength. So you can observe here that Radico, McDowell are showing on the yearly charts a good amount of strength. While if I pull it up on the monthly chart, 30 days chart, we can see that Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Colgate Palmolive, Godrej CP Consumers, these are the guys who are showing good strength. Britannia is also showing good strength. Then our good friend VBL, about which we discussed just, I think, 3 days ago, Varun Beverages, it is also showing strength. So from these charts, then what you can do a deep dive into Hindustan Unilever chart, ITC chart, Colgate Palmolive chart, Godrej Consumer Product chart, and take your call that which of these stocks are looking good to you. So nothing to surprise here. The big one to look for now will be ITC. Why I am really looking at ITC is because of its good results that have come in, and beyond FMCG, it has got component coming from the cigarette business, which suffered a lot during the COVID period. So cigarettes plus its hotel business plus its third business, which became a big victim of COVID, was paper. So if you observe that if you get into ITC, you are getting into recovery of these three kind of sectors in themselves. And being known that whenever market really crashes, there is a churn in terms of which sectors start showing strength. The ones which were really going gung-ho earlier, they actually get a big wave of profit booking and they get weaker. While the ones which were weak and were making bases, these are the ones which start looking up to further moves. So I'll quickly take you to the Nifty FMCG's chart. This is something which we have discussed in the uh, Nifty update of today, that is the sectoral and index update. So you can obviously observe here, there is a beautiful pattern being made over here. Now, those guys who are good with patterns, please respond back onto this comment section with what is this pattern that you are observing on the Nifty FMCG. I'll also post this on the Twitter handle. Do come back to me what pattern you are seeing on the Nifty FMCG, and then tell me, don't you feel excited about what is happening over here? Let me jump onto the stock now. So today, the only guy who really conquered the 52-week summit strongly was the big name ITC on the back of its results. By the way, ITC is the same stock which I had shared on my channel around 2 days ago. That was based on my specific scanner setups that I have for trend following. So if you want to get these updates on time, you can always join my daily updates channel that has these specific stock updates, or you can join my trainings also or coaching also to figure out how these stocks were identified. So ITC did stood against the market's pressure today, and yeah, it did clock its 52-week high, looking good on the daily charts. This is, let me bring it up to the daily chart, 6 months. So here you can see it has clocked its top over here quite strongly, moving the moving averages to get you more clarity. You can observe over here, nice volumes, nice breakout, and then pull it up to 3 years weekly. You can understand further what are the strengths it has got. Now, this is what is the weekly chart for 3 years. So this has actually cracked a 3 years top for you. Not 3 years, I would say 2.5 years. There's still a top to be covered upwards. And what is this pattern that you're seeing here? Again, this is the pattern. If I really pull it up from this point, okay, you can see it went into the cup and handle panel pan mode, pan handle mode, and finally it is giving a kind of a cup and a cheat breakout. If I give the exception of this particular spike and draw the chart, it is very much looking like a cup and cheat kind of a breakout. And this breakout is going to give a good result. That is what my thought is. Look, with my experience of cup and cheat breakouts in the Indian market, I do think that this guy can go quite a far. And we are not far off from the all-time high. If you see, 321, 275 is around 20% off from the all-time high. So if we really clock 20% more, then even ITC will be in the blue sky zone from where aggressive moves happen. So business wise, the results that came in, that gives me a good bit of idea that this would be possible. What is going to help them is definitely the recovery in hotel, paper and cigarette business, and also the agricultural things would work out once the monsoon settles in. The biggest challenge they would face is the inflationary pressure, which is the part of all the FMCG stocks. So that is the major risk, while the positives are the ones which I listed to you in terms of its recovery from the COVID level and the management bringing more clarity on their progress onto various sub-sectoral themes that they work upon, right? I just for our studies, let's look at another stock, Hindustan Unilever. Now, this is I'm just coming from the sector's point of view. So while we are so focused with the kind of a crash that is happening and feel bad about it and feel sad about it and really scamper to see ray of hopes where things can go better, you should always look at the sectoral strengths and look at the stocks within them. That tells you that no, there are some positives that are actually happening underneath the cover. So here is the chart of Hindustan Lever. The biggest problem here is that the 200 MA line, so it is all below 200 MA. So I would not recommend, or I would not think of entering here unless you're a value investor kind of a person. Okay, a general short-term trader investor should never get into the stocks below 200 MA. Anyway, let's look at the structure and understand it in context of what is happening with Nifty. So Nifty fell down sharp around the Feb and March due to the news of war, and that is where Hindustan Unilever also went through a lot of pressure. But can you observe over here one thing, that as the time is going, though there is bad news on Nifty, Nifty has reached the same bottom what it has reached in the earlier February March crash of the war. HUL is not doing that stuff. HUL is able to fall less, in fact, quite above than its earlier bottom, which was made during the period of war. Now that tells you the story that smart money or somebody over here is interested in the stock and is gobbling it up. They are trying to enter into the stock over here. So there seems to be accumulation going around. I do see spikes of big sell volumes earlier, but if you observe in these zones, the selling volumes are dropping. So sellers are not coming. Buying, will have to wait for buying to improve. So this is what my study here is, that HUL is another one which is looking interesting on the FMCG side, which can turn around the corner, and well, that is what you can watch for. Then let's look at Colgate Palmolive. Now all odd names, they do not appear nowadays on the breakout screener, but this is what, how the inversion story, or how the kind of a recovery story happens. You see it coming in bits and pieces, not really on the charts right away. So here also Colgate Palmolive, the thing you can observe is that it is able to hold off to this zone strongly during the crash that has happened through this month. Okay, now this tells you that something is cooking. This is another stock that you can keep a watch. So overall, what approach I took today was to demonstrate to you how do we find stocks and sectors during the recovery. This is more for your learning. Find the sector in trend plus in momentum, that is Nifty FMCG. Then go to the sectoral watch in NAC India website. You can see the list of stocks under this index. Then look for 30 days change or a 52-week change to figure out which one you want to focus on. I am taking more recent times change because the whole crash has happened in last 30 days. And if a stock is showing strength in last 30 days, there is some story into it. Let's look at Godrej CP also. I find it interesting. And from there now we are looking at some charts to get an idea that where is it that we can see some recovery. So Godrej CP also perfectly doing the same stuff what HUL is doing, but again, unfortunately below the 200 MA. Now, this is where you can see that Godrej CP is also able to withstand the pressure, but again below 200 MA. So this is something that uh, the long-term investors, those people can think about it. Short-term players should not get here. Another good name which is coming to my mind is Tata Consumer, because the turnaround that they have had under the leadership of Chandra. Now here you can see that they went up well, but all the gains were given up during this crash. So I will not touch it now. It is actually more in red, so maybe a story that we'll have to leave for now. So you can keep a watch on HUL, you can keep a watch on ITC, and then the third one that I gave you just a minute ago, that was the Colgate Palmolive. Then there are two new names also which are coming up strongly in FMCG. I have shared those names in my today's tweet for the 16 stocks portfolio. So if you guys happen to be on Twitter and following me over there, you can watch my tweet over there that I have mentioned about 16 stocks which are worth looking for in case you are bottom fishing in this market. It is on the paid basis on Cosmofeed. Have a look at it if you are interested and if you're somebody who can play with the risk and handle it well. Believe me, the times are still risky, but times are good for long-term investing. So depending on your risk profile, on your personality, you can go for those stocks also. So that was all about FMCG. My breakouts today, stock remains ITC. Looks pretty good to me. Now I'll start moving to the good reversals that I observed in today's market. Number one was Gokul Agro. Results were fabulous. These guys fundamentally they are doing pretty good. I made an entry over here, and at some point I booked my profit after looking at the weakness. But today I observed it has reversed well, and on a day when Nifty was under crash, even small caps were under pressure, this guy has made a interesting candle over here. So those guys who are big fans of candles can tell me the name of this candle in the comment section of the video. I want to make our interaction more kind of a both ways, so that I am ensuring that you guys are learning and I am also able to correct you. So look at this candle. What's the name of this candle? You can put it up in the comment section below. From there, I'll take it on, and you can also comment it on my Twitter handle. So this is where Gokul Agro, I look at it as a good, fundamentally strong and a very nice case for a recovery or for a reversal. Another good name is Vishnu Chemical. This also went through a good result, a good pre-result rally actually. That was a nice rally that happened till April, and then post that it has corrected, and now it has reversed up. I see a resistance over here 1650. So looking at it, and somebody who can hold it for, maybe it will make a cup and handle, because I see it has made a kind of a half part of the inverted head and shoulder. Next half might happen. So this is another one which you can look at. Fabulous volumes over here gives me the confidence that this is up to something, and good fundamentals also. So these two are the interesting uh, setups that I could think about the reversals. Now let me come on to the stocks which have come on the comment section of my video. Though I have been requesting on my tweets that please put your request for stocks, charts, and study on the channel, on the actually the videos, but there are people who are still posting on the tweets. So don't post over there, guys, because there it gets lost. So I'll just go one by one what I'm seeing with the requests over here. So first one was Sequent Scientific. So if I look at Sequent Scientific on the daily charts, it's scary. I would tell you to exit immediately. This is looking very, very painful. Take a lot of time to recover from here and come up. Why? Again, because below the red line, below the Gabbar Singh line, below the Lakshman Rekha, survival is very tough. You will be under pressure for a lot of time. But to give you hope, in case you still want to continue, we will move to the weekly chart. Let's look at the weekly chart. And weekly chart, you are actually just gone below a crucial support zone. So on the weekly chart also, this looks very painful. This was the point from where it had reversed earlier as well as from here. So these levels of 120 were good chance to recover. I don't know how, but if you still get this stock closing above 120 through this week, maybe you can continue to hold it. Otherwise, exit it. And still, if you want to exit with more patience, I think you should draw your last line at 101, or I should say the round figure 100. Beyond that, 10% more from here is what the chance that you should give to this stock on the weekly closure basis. Beyond that, it's better that we come out of this stock. It doesn't work out. Nice company had its good days during the post-COVID recovery, but after that, like all pharmas, they have been going through pain, right? Second stock, which came from Kushal Chabria on United Spirits, that to multiple number of times. Looks like some bug on his side. So let's look at the United Spirits chart. Yes, this is the 3-year weekly setup. You are standing at a point of recovery. So you are standing at a point of recovery. I would say 750 is your stop loss. Below 750, if this stock closes, you should exit. And as such, last week there was a recovery that happened. This week also, this is just, I think we still have tomorrow's day. Hopefully, if it closes above this level, I would say continue to hold for a recovery. Otherwise, waiting till 750 is what I would give you the last chance on United Spirit. Further comment that I am getting is on the stock of, there are 3 stocks by Mithun Shenoy, Canara Bank, PFC, and Ruchi Soya. So Ruchi Soya is more, I would call, a story which is fundamentals and speculation based. I would still suggest that if you're somebody who can handle risk, please go ahead with Ruchi Soya. Because what is happening with its brand getting, merged, or rather getting replaced with the one by Baba Ramdev, it is actually going to Patanjali Foods, as not able to recollect, right? So Patanjali Food is the one that brand is going to add a lot of push to this uh, Ruchi Soya story. And definitely their component of business, also their running operations, also getting merged with this company, all looks to be positive, and they have been able to pay back the debts also. So Ruchi Soya, good story. You can just go without the chart, but do you really want a stop loss here? Because I am somebody who, you are really looking for a story which is based on the business turnaround. You will have to actually give more leeway for the volatility. So anyway, your stop loss in this case max should be 800. So 800 is a good stop loss. You can work with it around 25%, which is reasonable risk. So you can, yep, you can own this up and wait for further moves, which looks to be that they would happen aggressively. So Ruchi Soya is the one which you can think about. And I'm talking about Canara Bank. I was looking at it, and exactly on the support, in fact, just gone below the support. So this is also like a United Spirits kind of a story, breaking the, I would call, a midterm support and looking weak. Please exit is what I would suggest. And if you want still to hold it, your next level of support should be 160. Guys, always be cognizant about risk. So I'm talking more about the risk. I'm really not talking about the targets here, because they should at least recover. Then we can think about targets. If they recover, come back to me for targets, I'll tell you. But for now, I would say focus on the risk. Focus on the risk. It is still at 187. Below this itself, we should exit. Otherwise, 160 looks to be a last resort to wait for. Then PFC, Power Finance Corporation. Here the story is, draw the line on the earlier bounces, earlier reversals, and that is where the stock is reversing today. So on a weekly close basis, if you are able to close above 105, stay above 105, please hold on to this stock. It will survive. It can do better. But yeah, otherwise, if it breaks below 105, we are going to see a steep and fast fall from here. So that is what I had. I don't see any further names that came up in my tweets or replies. So yeah. So now here is a question from Ujjwal Agarwal during this IT counter crackdown, any particular IT stock to buy for long term? So I would suggest that go for cross theme stocks over here. So I have two cross theme stocks for you, KPIT, because this is IT plus auto plus green energy. So this is a cross theme stock you can think about, because IT in itself as a sector, I doubt how fast it can turn around. It has a good tailwind in terms of the rupee getting cheaper, but the headwinds is that recessionary fears are going to get away the projects from you. So overall, the budgeting that happens for IT projects can drop. So better stay into something which is IT plus another theme which can help you run. Another one which you can look at is Tata Elxsi. Now this is again a story which is a green story plus the story for IT. So this is something, and plus they also have an auto story going around with them. So this is how these two stocks, whenever in a fix, you can try to approach some stocks which are having a broader contribution than literally sticking to that one particular sector. So you can get a flavor of both and then still work around. Chartically, I was looking at Infosys that was looking better, but the way it has cracked today, I would say it's time that we stay away from Infosys. Maybe wait and watch. And as always, we will always have a hang around our sectoral trends and momentum that can give us a clue, because it is still very close. It was quite very close to get into the uptrend last week, but now it has gone far away. So this crackdown, and in fact today's biggest pain has been in IT. So let's stay away from it. And if you still want to do bottom fishing, keep a look on KPIT and Tata Elxsi to plan some activities around there. On other hand, I think that is what was the total thing that I wanted to cover with you. If you have any further questions, do get in touch with me below the comment section. So henceforth, if you have any chart request that you would like me to look into, do put it on in the comment section of this video. आपको किसी स्टॉक्स के ऊपर और अपडेट्स चाहिए मेरी तरफ से स्पेसिफिकली, तो कमेंट सेक्शन का इस्तेमाल करिए। मैं भी ट्विटर पे रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ, लेकिन वहाँ पे सब मिक्स हो जाते हैं मैसेजेस, तो इसी कमेंट सेक्शन पे करिए। जितना हो सके इस चैनल को लाइक, सब्सक्राइब और शेयर करते रहिए। आपका सपोर्ट ही है जो मुझे आगे ले जाने के लिए एनकरेज करता रहेगा। सो एज if you like my work, definitely go ahead and subscribe, like, and share it within your community. The more and more support you guys give, that is the motivation for performing more. So what next? So yeah, this Friday I may not give you any update, but during the week I'll come back to you with some interesting video as the time I can find, and any interesting topic is there. So have a good weekend also right in advance, and hoping for a recovery as always. Take care. Bye bye.